Morning YouTube. Today we are Wednesday, the 15th of March 2023. My name is Yusuf and you are watching one of my videos about the weather. So in this new video, I will of course look at the polar vortex as we are currently doing now. And it is rather interesting. I mean, look at this. Let me just zoom that in for you. This is the polar vortex, which is supposed to be over here. So this is the Arctic, this is the polar vortex. This has implications, especially when it comes to the jet stream, which is the main driver of the weather in general, especially when it comes to temperatures, but also the pressure systems. So this is completely erratic as position. It is outside the Arctic and it shouldn't be this way. And to prove it to you, if you are new to this topic, let's take a look at the polar vortex at the 10 millibar section over Antarctica. Here you can see that it is nicely around Antarctica at the top of the Antarctic region, and this is how it is supposed to be. So this is completely wrong. And what can we expect from this? Well, let me just show you when we look at the forecast. So I'm going to the 250 millibars, which is the jet stream, and this way you will understand when I show you in a moment the temperatures, what is happening. So we are the 15th of course today, but let's take a look at what happens in the coming days. This is tomorrow, and as you can see, the jet stream will gradually change its shape. And I believe, you know what, let me take that high definition out because this is taking too much time. Yes, this is much better. So this is what I want to show. As you can see, the jet stream is going way too southwards. And why is it doing this? Let's look at this. It is almost in the subtropical region. This is not good at all. And you will see in a moment why. And conversely, on the opposite side, we have basically an increase in amplitude, which is the opposite of this. And it is pointed in the opposite direction towards the Arctic, which is logic, because when we go back to the 10 millibar section, the jet stream will go down because it will sort of circumvent the polar vortex, and here it will be moving more northwards than it usually does. So we will have warmer weather for Europe basically and colder for the United States, and I will show you in a moment. Let's go back to the beginning and let's just scroll. Let me just decrease the resolution so I can, yes, put this on one screen. And let's just, these are, by the way, temperature anomaly. I will start with the anomaly, then I will switch to the regular temperature overlay. So when we look at the coming days until when the official spring begins, the 21st of March, you will see that gradually the cold is invading the US. Here, for example, we can see, by the way, these are not actual temperatures. This is in Fahrenheit, and these are only anomalies. So this is actually deviation from the averages, the seasonal averages. If I go actually to the temperature overlay, and keep in mind this is in Fahrenheit, not in Celsius, this is how it looks like. And if I scroll further, let's go to the beginning, you will see that it was actually warmer, and then it will be gradually getting colder and colder and colder, and this is caused by the jet stream. This is most evident on the first day of spring and slightly before it, as you can see. So it will get a lot colder. The first day of spring will be less pleasant in the United States than in Europe. But pleasantries aside, let's take a look at Europe. and then view the global map. So when I go to Europe, we have actually the opposite going on. Here, because the jet stream is actually favorable, as it moves more to the north and it becomes elongated, warm air will be pushing from the subtropical region to the mid-latitudes. And as you can see, when we go to the first day of spring over here, we actually have the complete opposite situation. And if I go to temperature anomaly, this becomes very clear as we have deviations. For example, here, this is at the hottest in the first day of spring. In Germany, for example, they will have 10 degrees above their average, their seasonal average, and in many other parts of Central Europe. So this is very good for us and very bad for the United States, which will be experiencing the opposite, which means colder temperature than seasonal values. Let me just go back to the global map. So you can actually see, you can have basically a global view. So we have all these positive anomalies, and notice how over the United States there will be mainly cold anomalies. As we move to the first day of spring, the 21st of March, we can see all these cold anomalies piling up over the United States. So mostly colder than the average of seasonal temperatures, and over Europe mostly higher than the seasonal values. And over the Arctic, as you can see, we have very strong positive anomalies too. This is all caused by the polar vortex, which is located over here, and actually it should be on top of the Arctic. So there you have it. And you know what, let's just put the 250 millibars so we can actually watch the chat stream. It is loading the images. Yes, there you have it. If I go to the beginning, we still have a jet stream which is kind of normal, also over Europe, but then over the course of the days you will see it sort of disappears and merges to the subtropical jet stream band. And in Europe we have the opposite going on. We have the jet stream going way over the mid-latitudes and bringing this warmer air to the mid-latitudes. So there you have it, cold weather for the United States during the first day of spring, and warmer, the unseasonably warm for Europe, especially Central Europe. Okay, yes, by the way, this is the Arctic Oscillation Index, which is going slightly positive. This is also good news, especially for Europe. And I just hope this will remain positive, because when we have a positive Arctic oscillation, we have a tendency to have warm westerlies over Europe, and this will bring warm weather, which is of course desired in spring season. Then, yes, before I show something which is related to space weather, I will end this weather section by simply showing you. So we had a few weeks ago a minor southern stratospheric warming. This is, for example, the 1 millibar section, and as you can see, it is already subsiding. If we look at the 10 millibar section, this becomes evident. We had a few bumps progressively, what could be seen as a southern stratospheric warming, but then, as you can see, it is cooling again. So this is all good news. And going to the 100 millibar section, it is also starting to cool. So this means that we might have indeed a positive Arctic oscillation, which is sustained during much of the spring season, beginning of the spring season. Okay, enough of weather, and let's go to something entirely different. I was checking space weather, and usually I don't put this in the same video as weather, but it's just a small event. So we had a CME that was prolonged and protons have spiked. And then I saw this and I read, I was going through articles, space weather articles. It's really hilarious when they say there is an unusual absorption event over the Arctic regions, and they don't really know why. Well, let me just show you what happens, because there's a lot of nonsense in the official explanation. Basically what happens, this for example, let's just start with the magnetopause standoff distance. We have an event when that happens. And basically, as you can see, this is what can be seen as still a normal values, even if it is weaker than usual, the magnetosphere. But then all of a sudden there is a collapse. All these magnetic field lines disappear, and this is seen as over here as a sudden violent dip and the magnetosphere standoff position. So it comes basically close, and let me just show you over here. Here you can actually see it more clearly. We have this normal situation, solar wind hitting our magnetosphere, and then all of a sudden, boom, a total collapse in just a few minutes to the geosynchronous orbit. This is what had caused this sustained blackout in the lower frequencies over the Arctic. Just if you are wondering, what is the meaning of all this? This is again evidence of the weakening of our magnetosphere, which at some point they will have to admit it. I mean, you can hold this away forever, especially going to solar maximum. I cannot see this being under wraps indefinitely. Okay, by the way, so if you haven't done already, don't forget to hit the like button, and most of all subscribe to my channels, otherwise you will miss any future content and this will make me really sad. So let's cite a philosophical quote to end this video, and I think we were at 77 if I'm not no, 78, yes. So this is now 79 in this video. Okay, let us be well persuaded that every one of us possesses happiness in proportion to his virtue and wisdom, and according as he acts in obedience to their suggestion. Well, this is actually self-explanatory. A person can have all the money of the world, all the possessions of the world, metaphorically speaking, and not be happy, because happiness in the end is decided by the proportion of virtue and wisdom. So basically the person, the most rich person of this world, who has the most, is the one who has lots of virtue and wisdom, who will have a very happy life because he will make the right decisions in his life, and thus live without regret or remorse. So there you have it. Thanks for watching this video, and I guess we see each other next time. Bye bye everyone.